my fellow makeup enthusiasts, welcome back to my perfectly healthy expression of makeup enthusiasm. My name is Lainey, and today I'm talking about eyeshadow palette reviews. I'm not doing a review, I want to know your thoughts on eyeshadow palette reviews. Now, I am a very small YouTuber, microscopic really. I'm not a new YouTuber, and I've never really popped, which is okay with me. Honestly, it's fine. I do this for fun. I don't expect to make any money off of this. I don't expect to get on anybody's PR list. I do this purely for the love of makeup and the love of interacting. Even if it's only with a few people, you guys mean so much to me. But I'm really trying to up my game, not necessarily to grow as a channel, but just to put out more content that's relevant, that's useful, that's current. So that's my story. I don't want to talk too much about myself. I want to get into this video, and this may end up being kind of a tag video, or actually a tag video. I'm going to decide that as I go along. So the basic premise is, what do you like? What do you dislike? What do you have to have? What do you absolutely despise? And so let's go ahead and jump into the first question. Does size matter? That's the question on every man's mind, and that's the question on most makeup lovers' mind. Palette size. Do you like the little teeny tiny ones? Do you go for the more mid-range palettes? Or do you like the bigger palettes? Or maybe you like palettes that are even bigger than this. I personally don't care. As long as it's good quality. I don't know that I would ever go for one of those giant Morphe palettes that are like this big, but if the shadows are good, if the color story speaks to me, I really don't care. For the longest time, I said I preferred smaller palettes just because they're easier to store, but as I've gotten more and more into makeup, I'm like, I don't care. Just give me a good palette. But what are your thoughts? And also, does pan size matter? So, for example, would these pans be too big? Just because you might think, I will never go through that entire palette. I might be lucky to hit pan on a couple of shades. Or does it not matter? Because for me, it honestly doesn't matter. Some of my teeny tiny palettes that I use frequently, I still don't go all the way through them, but I think that depends on how much makeup you own, on how often you use that particular palette. So for me, pan size doesn't matter, and price per gram absolutely does not matter at all to me. I don't care if I'm getting a good value if I don't like the product, and I don't care if the price is a little bit up there if the product is spectacular. But that's just my opinion. Tell me yours. Question 2. What's in the box? And I'm not talking about Gwen's head. I'm talking about the description box. And I want to know everything. I want a link to where I can buy it. I want to know what they're wearing on their face. If they've got discount codes, I want those. If they have a mailing address and I'm feeling generous, I want to be able to send stuff. So I want everything possible in the description box. But maybe some people don't care. Maybe some people don't even read the description box. I try to cram as much stuff as I possibly can into mine, personally. That sounded dirty. But filth aside, for me, as long as there is a link to the product page, I'm good with that. I'm like Zelda. I need my link. Question 3, to swatch or not to swatch. I've heard a lot of creators say lately that they feel like their audience doesn't really care about swatches. I like to see swatches. I don't mind if the content creator doesn't swatch. I'm not gonna be like, this is a crappy video, she didn't swatch it or he didn't swatch it. I don't care, but I do like to see it because when I'm watching a video, I like to feel like I'm living vicariously through the YouTuber and I'm imagining myself at Sephora, what I would do. Well, what I would do, I'd swatch that bitch. And so I really like to see it. Question 4, how much of the video do you like to see devoted to actual application of the product? For me, I like to see a little bit of application, but I don't need to see a bunch of looks like in a first impressions video, or even if it's a full review, one look is good for me. I just want to see how the shadows perform on the lid. But if the video is mostly just makeup application and very little commentary on the shadows or on the palette, I don't mind that, but I would rather see commentary on the palette and then maybe a little bit of application and maybe a separate video where they're doing several different looks. Number 5, and this means a great deal to me personally, and I'll explain why in just a minute. Do you need to know each brush's name? Now for me, all I really care about is I'm using a fluffy brush, or I'm using a small fluffy brush, or a tapered brush. I don't really need to know the name. If I really want to know what the brush is, I will just message the YouTuber and ask, or I'll wait for a video specifically devoted to brushes. And for me, when I'm doing palette reviews, I have a lot of trouble seeing the brush names because I'm visually impaired, and then some of my brushes are on the older side, which means I probably need to replace them, but the name of the brush is pretty much worn off, so a lot of times I don't even know the name of the brush, and I feel like that's a shortcoming of mine, so I want to know how important that is to you. Question 6. What are you looking for in the commentary on the individual shadows? Do you want to know about pigmentation? How well do they blend? How well they might complement different skin tones? Fallout, kick-up, staining? Oh, I could go on and on. But what do you want to know about the individual shadows? Question 7. What kind of commentary do you look for about the overall palette? And I grabbed the Kristen Leanne Urban Decay collab because a lot of people really ragged on the layout of this palette, and for me, I don't give a rat's ass about layout. If it's different, if it's funky, if all of the pan size aren't equal, that doesn't bother me as long as it doesn't create a problem with the shadow application. In other words, them getting into each other and kind of cross-contamination. But I don't really care about the palette layout as long as the shadows are good, but I know that a lot of people do. A lot of people want the colors in a specific order. What else? I have my notes. And finally, how much time would you like the creator to spend oohing and eyeing over really pretty packaging, or maybe ragging on packaging that maybe isn't so cute? Because for me, if the packaging commentary goes on and on and on, I'm like, okay, we get it, it's cute, or okay, we get it, it's ugly. I appreciate a little bit of commentary, but I don't need that much unless we're talking about something like this that's so cute that you could make an entire hour-long video talking about how fucking cute this is. I get that. Question 8. Do you appreciate an ingredient analysis? Why or why not? Me? I do appreciate it. I don't need it. If you want an ingredient analysis, Jen loves reviews. She is the queen of that. She is my go-to gal if I want an ingredient analysis, but usually I don't have any problems with any ingredients in eyeshadows. I've never had a bad reaction, and so I don't really care, even though I do find it somewhat interesting, but I understand if you have very sensitive eyes and if particular ingredients may cause irritation for you. I understand why you would want that, so let me know. Question 9, and this one's my personal favorite. Do you like to know what the product smells like? Because I do. Like, this Barbie palette smells like coconuts, and I love that, and I always want to know what a product smells like. Sometimes they smell off-putting, and yes, I would want to know that, but mostly I want to know if they smell delicious, because if they smell really good, that's going to make me want to buy it. There are several products that I've bought purely because I saw multiple people say that they smelled good. Question 10, how much is too much for one video? I mentioned this earlier, that I kind of like a review with a little bit of application, but mostly commentary on the quality. Do they blend well? Do they have fallout? How much does it cost? Blah, blah, blah. And then maybe a separate video where they're really doing several different looks and showcasing the palette and showing you how it really performs and the versatility and all that jazz. I don't necessarily want to see all of that crammed into one video. Question 11, we're getting there. Do you ever try to replicate a look down to the last speck of glitter? Because I don't. And that's only because most of the creators that I watch, maybe they have very different eye shapes, maybe they prefer different color stories. So I might get a lot of inspiration, but I'm never going to try to replicate a look down to the last speck of glitter. I do get inspiration, but not replication. But I want to know, maybe that's why some people want to know brush names and every little detail and what kind of mascara, what kind of primer, every little thing, because they're trying to replicate it exactly. Now, I personally think that you're never going to be able to replicate a look exactly because we're all different. Everybody's eyes are different. Everybody has different skin issues. Everybody has different skin tones. So I don't think that that's really reasonable to try to replicate a look exactly, but I'm rambling. So let's get to question 12. Another question that is very near and dear to my heart, would you like it if more YouTubers showed makeup in normal lighting? I don't mean natural lighting, I mean just average everyday room light. Let me show you. Like this. No soft boxes, no ring light, no professional lighting. Not that my lighting is professional, but basically just normal room light. Would you like to see that? Because I feel like it makes a big difference, and I feel like if you're watching a video and you are expecting your makeup to look the way it does on someone who is in front of big, bright studio lighting, you're gonna be disappointed. To me, that's just a very useful portion of the video. I always try to remember to do it. I don't always remember to do it, but I feel like I would love to see more content creators show the makeup in normal room light. Maybe outside, maybe in an office building if you can get there. I would love that. Lucky number 13, what do you look for in production quality? I get really self-conscious about my production quality. I don't have a professional camera. I do film on my iPhone. I am getting a professional camera later on this year, but I currently don't have one, so I'm making do with what I have. And I know most people would say, if you feel the call to start a YouTube channel, just start it. Just do it. Just work with what you've got. But is it easier to watch a video that's shot on a good camera with really good lighting, with a really professional backdrop? Does that matter, or do other things matter, such as question 14, how much does the YouTuber's personality matter? For me, it's the most important thing. Basically, everybody that I watch regularly on YouTube is a person that I feel like I would be friends with if I met them in the real world. And there's no single answer. There's no single element that makes me drawn to somebody. It's just a vibe. I just have to click with the content creator. And if I do feel like I'm clicking with the person, even if we never interact, even if I never comment or they never reply to my comments, I have to feel like this is a person that I would like in the real world. This is a person that I can relate to, whether it's because of their makeup style or the way they express themselves or their background or what have you. Personality is everything to me. Last question, number 15. Is there an ideal length for a YouTube video? Because I feel like there might be. I find myself rushing a lot of the time, and that's why I leave things out. I find myself cutting things that I probably shouldn't cut that probably would be useful information, because I feel like if my video gets too long, people are going to lose interest. It's going to be harder to watch. Even though I don't think I've ever watched a YouTube video that was like 45 minutes to an hour, but I have watched videos that were on the 30-minute side, and I'm okay with that, especially when all of the content is relevant. But I want to know from you, do you prefer the shorter, like 10-minute videos, 15 to 20-minute range, 30-minute range? Is there an ideal length? Wow, so I started with, does size matter? And I ended with, does length matter? So that just about wraps it up for today, and I have decided that I definitely want to make this a tag video. So if you are watching this, tag you're it. I would tag specific people, but I don't know. I'm having an insecure moment. I feel like I don't have enough clout to reach out and tag somebody. But if you're watching this, tag If you're not a content creator, just leave your answers down below. I'm very interested in reading them. Or if you're not a content creator and you've been thinking about making your own videos, why not start here? Tag videos are a great place to start. And if I left anything out, if I neglected to write a question that would be very meaningful to you, write your own questions, tack them onto the end, because I'm sure that I forgot like a shitload of stuff. So go ahead and let me know what matters to you. What do you look for in an eyeshadow palette review? So that does wrap it up for today. As always, thank you so very much for joining me. If you are new here, go ahead and subscribe. I've got tons of content planned for the next couple of months. I'm on sabbatical, so I basically just sit around studying for the national exam and making YouTube videos. So if you want to see a whole lot of content, please subscribe. That would make me super, super happy. Follow me on Instagram. I will follow you back. Throw me a pity like, give me some encouragement to make some more videos. Very special shout out to you if you are watching this video on the toilet. And until next time, stay adorably obsessed with makeup or whatever brings you joy.